it is recording. Okay, so we're back with another episode of Tacoimposters. So I'm wearing this headset because I can monitor this microphone, which is my old. It's my newest microphone, but it's my oldest microphone I own. It's the newer NW 700 because I can monitor that microphone with this. This right here. It's a Native Instruments Controller 1, Audio Controller 1, and it's basic, well, in layman terms, it's basically a inter, no, not that, this. Audio, let me see if I can hear it. Go back down. It's an audio interface. So it goes to USB. It's USB B, but anyway, I can put an XLR in, and I can put a quarter-inch headphone jack in. So this flight headset can now be used onto that. Not this end, which has the microphone part, like the microphone jack, or yeah, but the headphone part can be, and so I can monitor it real time in my headset, which is really cool. But yeah, um, okay. I have to tell you something though. Um, this cable for the microphone, the part that goes into the headset or into whatever you're recording, not into the mic. But I think the mic part's also broken. But I didn't know. Okay, I got this thing. My friend gave it to me for nothing, for free, because at his work, he got it from work, and he can't actually sell them anymore. Cause they're not allowed to sell them anymore because they just don't sell them anymore, and so he can't sell them. And so he's like, okay, you want one? Because I was asking him, what are good audio interfaces? And he's like, for microphones. And he's like, I got some from work. I'm like, oh great. So he gave me this one. Anyway, so I got it from him. He dropped it off at my house, and he was like, okay, hey, see what it is, see what it does, have fun. And I was like, okay, thanks. But then guess what? It didn't work. And we tried literally anything, everything we could, and nothing would work. What? What you know? Okay, come on. Gate. What? I'm so confused. This one? Gate. No, I want toggle. What? Whatever. Yeah. So it didn't work. We tried everything. Software wise, hardware wise, we tried different things, tried this, tried that, tried unplugging things, tried switching different buttons, putting different things, knobs, switches, knobs all the way to the top, input, output, headphones, everything. Anyway, got nothing. Didn't work. Couldn't get it to work. It ended up being the cable, the XLR cable, the end that goes into the device, not the one into the microphone. But I think that was also iffy. But he said the whole cable's iffy. Well, the microphone is really cheap. It's like I bought it for $55 on Amazon, $50, $5 Canadian, and I was talking to some people on a what's it called? Oh my gosh, videography subreddit, and they had an audio channel, and I was like, yeah, I have this, and they're like, trash, throw it in the trash immediately, never use it, chuck it in the bin, burn it, throw it in a fire, throw it in a hole, whatever. Just get rid of it. And I was like, but I like it. And I kind of had that like I spent money on this, so I want to use it and not, throw it away. But the problem was they're like, no, it's trash. It's like absolute garbage. And I'm like, don't tell me that. I wish I knew that before I bought it. Because my best friend told me, yeah, go with this mic because I know people have it. And I think does he have one? No, his dad is a musician, so he has better mics. But his friend has it. He's like, and I asked him, how does he like it? And he goes, he thinks it's really good. For the price, it's really good. It's $55. What do you want? But then again, I could buy one, and this is a condenser mic, so I can't connect it directly into my computer without phantom power. But what was it called? I could have gotten like cheaper mics, condenser mics, for like $30. So, like I have, where is it? Oh, it's around try this one, right? I have this mic, which I don't even know what it is. Don't ask me what it is, but it's like a generic dynamic mic. Unidirectional mic DM 20 or 20. I don't know. No, 20 SL input 600 ohm made in Philippines. That's all it says on it. Anyway, it's what I was using before, but when I connected it to the computer, no, sorry, to the camera, I think it's this cable right here. If I can still have that. No, it's over there. It was a 3.5 millimeter to XLR cable that I connected directly into the camera, and then the camera into the capture card, and the capture card into the computer. And what's it called? I was doing it. So I think the 3.5 millimeter end is just not very good. It's like iffy. It's like loose. It's like cold solder joints, stuff like that. And so I'm like, so you hear a buzz with that mic, which isn't the worst thing. It doesn't happen all the time. It's not a constant, but every time it's on, because I was streaming it and somebody commented in the chat, they were like, "This is almost unlistenable. It's bad." And I'm like, "Yeah, it probably is." And I listened back and I'm like, "Oh, I see what you mean. This is awful." Sorry for the like loudness, but it was awful. So bad. This is unlistenable. It's bad. It's bad. But I was like, what am I gonna do though? I don't have any way to fix this. And then I was like, I want to get a good audio interface. What can I get? And then, boom. Sorry for the loudness again. And boom. My friend was like, I can get you something for free. So I was like, oh, paying nothing would be nice. So that's what I did. Anyway, I did that, and I'm happy with it now. I have to get a new cable, and if I want to connect it to, well, connect my speakers to it, I can with a, oh, if I can get this out, this. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know why the camera's all orange, but anyway, like it's this one, which is a 3.5 millimeter to quarter inch. Whoopsies, quarter-inch adapter, and I can connect my speakers to that. But oh crap, but just a sec. I think it's two or one. One. Let me try one. Yeah, I'll try one. But not the not both speakers. I only get mono. I'd have to get a splitter that splits it to um dual stereo. So TSR or TSR. I don't know what exactly they're called. Anyway, I would have to get one of those. So, and I'd have to get a new cable for this too, because he said, yeah, it works now because he resoldered stuff, but there's it really doesn't work, or it won't work forever. It's really crap. It's really bad. Don't count on this to work for a long time. I was like, okay, good. So get a new one, and he's like, yeah. They're like $10, $15 at one of those like Fry's Electronic type stores or Radio Shack or Mauser Electronics, something like that, you know. So I was like, okay, I'll get that and the other adapter, and then I'll be good. He's like, yeah, you'll be set. So hey, and even as MIDI, so I could connect things to this device and then connect like a keyboard or synthesizer. I was also asking him about synthesizers, and he was like, they're expensive. I went, yeah. He goes, yeah, for your budget, which I told him was $100 Canadian. He was like, no, no. You're not gonna find anything for under $100 Canadian. I was like, yeah, I didn't think so. I looked it up, and it's gonna be expensive. So, but if you go used, you could find things like keyboards that have like different instruments on them for not too bad. So, oh no, I hope this is working. Oh no, there it is. Okay, good. Let me just see what these are taking up. Oh my god, probably a lot. CPU is 97%. Holy crow. What's taking up? Oh, PCO player's taking up a bit. Windows Explorer's taking up a bit. Not too much. But what's taking up the most? What is taking up the most? Let's go see. PCO player's taking up quite a bit. Oh man, I'm probably not gonna be able to record the whole thing, so yikes. Hopefully it'll work. How do I do that? My CPU is not the worst, but it's not the best. But it's not the worst. It's a Ryzen 3 2200G. So it's not the worst CPU ever. And so I don't know, but it uses almost all of it up all the time. Look, 97% CPU usage, and then 93% memory usage. Although the memory I don't think is fast enough, and I don't think it's a high enough capacity. I think I should have gotten 16 gigs, but at the time I didn't have enough money for 16 gigs. I only had enough money for 8, 2 sticks of 8, 2 sticks of 4 gigs. So it's like, ooh. So hey, I think it's the speed or the memory for that, but the CPU, come on, it's bottlenecking. Ah, this is dumb. I mean, Firefox is taking up a lot of memory, but oh, iTunes. Let's close iTunes then. Ooh, expand maybe? No, I just want iTunes to be done. iTunes, close iTunes. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Now Task Manager is responding. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I have now. I don't know if it sounds any good. You guys have to tell me if it sounds good, because I'm obviously I think it sounds fine through the headphones, and the headphones aren't that great because they're a flight headset. And so, and they have a mic here, so like I could do this. I hope I can get that working one day, but flight headsets. So they're flight headsets, so they're not supposed to sound good. They're just supposed to sound audible. There's the most noise canceling headphones I've ever used. They're insane. I thought my other headphones, which are Skullcandy Hesh 2 wireless, were a good noise canceling, and then no, the next day I got it for Christmas. The next day I used them. I was like, no, these are awful. These are not noise canceling at all. But these these things are padded. Like, I don't know if you can see, but in the inside, no, you can't see. Nah, you won't be able to see. But on the inside, like in here, they have padding between here and here, between this and in here. And oh my gosh, are they the most they're padded, so they're the most noise canceling headphones I've ever used. They're nuts. It's great. I can't hear a thing anybody says. Start saying something to me, and I'll be like, "Sorry, can't hear you." So they're just insane. But yeah, yeah. So that's what that is. And I hope I can get something like a keyboard. 'Cause I was looking online for like Kijiji and Facebook Marketplace, and I found some keyboards for not super stupid prices that have MIDI, so I could connect them to my computer. I'm just waiting for one guy because he said somebody was coming to get it or buy it tomorrow, and if he doesn't show up, if he never shows, if he no show, if he doesn't buy it, he would let me know. So the other guy was like, "Yeah, sure, take it for the price I offered." So, which is good. I want one, but I'm not 100% sure that brand. One was Roland, and the other one was like some no-name brand I'd never heard of in my life. Not that it's going to be a bad keyboard. It's just I have no idea what the brand is. So, but yeah, I don't exactly know how to play keyboard. Not that I don't, but I really don't. Like, not that I can't learn, but I don't know at this very moment how to play keyboard. I know how to play the Song of Time from The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and I also know how to play, well, a very simplified version of like Eye of the Tiger, and a very simplified version of the Peanuts theme. And I was learning how to play. Oh, come on, tell me this is gonna work. Okay, it's not bad. I was learning how to play, what's it called? The Harry Potter theme. Anyway, I was learning how to play that one. So, which, I mean, I don't know, it's not too bad. I would need to learn how to play, but if it has synthesizer like different um instruments. It'd be cool to just mess around with. For the price I was getting or looking at them for, I don't think they're that bad. So yeah, for that price, I mean, it's just cheap enough to mess around with. If I never don't like it, I could just sell it off. So pretty good, pretty good as far as I can see. And my friend who gave me the interface knows a little bit about synths and keyboards and stuff, and he's like, yeah, that's not bad. And I was like, he said go with the Roland because he knew what the Roland brand was, and I was like, yeah, maybe I should do that. Although the guy might be selling it tomorrow, so like, well, which is okay. Forgot to do this already. It is March 22nd, 2020. So tomorrow will be March 23rd. Um, um, yeah. So anyway, yeah. So he's just like, but I'm selling. He might be selling it tomorrow, and I'm like, so I was like, oh, okay. Or he was like, oh, well then maybe you have to go with the other guy. Because I was like, I got it. They accepted my offer. I just have to choose one. I just have to pick one. So he was just like, oh, well then maybe you have to go with the other guy. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to go with the other guy, considering I know Roland. I have no idea what this other one is. And he's like, yeah, me neither. So maybe try and get the Roland. And I was like, yeah, I'd like to, but I don't know if I can. So if any of you know had like a good resource for learning piano slash keyboard, let me know because I'd like to learn. I'd love to learn how to play keyboard because keyboards are really good and universal in the sense that that if you have other instruments, like there is a song. I don't know if you watch Roomy Official. Anyway, he was talking to a guy and he asked him, "How'd you get that MIDI sound?" And he was basically like, or not MIDI, he bass sound. It's a good bass sound. And he went, "Yeah, it's a synthesizer or it's a keyboard with a bass." And I'm like, he was like, "Oh, nice, nice." So if it has a lot of instruments that sound pretty realistic, then yeah, you could definitely, fool some people into thinking, "Oh, you were using a real instrument, right?" And you could be like, "No, not exactly." Like they're pretty convincing when they work, and when they sound realistic, they're pretty convincing. So I'm not a musician. That's the one thing I wish I actually kept up with because I was going to guitar lessons. But the problem was the way that the teacher was teaching me guitar was not the way I wanted to learn guitar or just music in general. Because how I wanted to learn music was basically I wanted to learn the song I wanted to learn or to play, and then just learn the chords and the notes and all that from the songs I want to play. The way they were doing it is like the conventional way where they just drill chords into your brain, like they drill it into your brain. Like you will play 10,000 chords a day. You will practice for 1,000 hours a week, and you will one day be a master. You'll be the next Beethoven. And I'm like, that's not how I want to learn. Now, if you do that early, if your parents get you to do that early, like three, four, five. Like I watch this kid on YouTube, and well, I found him on Reddit live, but then he also has a YouTube channel, and he does a lot more on YouTube. Anyway, he live streams on YouTube. He plays piano. He's 15, and he's been playing since he was 5. So he's been playing for 10 years. So if you weren't learning that early, I don't think you will. It'll be easy to learn. It's like languages. It's so much easier when you're like a kid rather than an adult. Like I'm an adult now, and I live in Quebec, and I still don't know. I'm not fluent in French, and I never was, and I never learned French because I never was like drilled into my brain. Learn French, learn French. You have to learn French to get a high school leaving ticket here, but French and history. I get the French, but the history, really? Do we need to learn history? Our history is boring, in my opinion. Our history, our Canadian, because our history is not even Canadian history. It's Quebec history with the founding of Canada sprinkled in there. So anyway, French. So I have lot harder time learning French than like a 10-year-old or a 5-year-old would, or a 15-year-old even. So for me, it's not super easy. So I feel like music would be the same thing where like if you started when you were like 5 and you played your whole life and you just kept practicing, yeah, you would be able to learn how to play music, but I feel like I wouldn't be able to. But then again, I asked my other friend and or somebody asked my other friend actually because we were doing something together anyway, and he was like, "Oh yeah, because you asked him, how do you learn to play the guitar? How long would it take to learn to play guitar? And he goes, well, how long did it take you? And he goes, it was so long ago, I don't remember. But he gave one piece of advice. He went, look, play like an hour a day, or like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes a day, every day, constantly, consistently, rather than take one day and play like 5, 6, 10, 12 hours, right? Because it's dumb. Because it's the consistency you need. That's why school is exactly the same amount, or not exactly, but like the same amount of time every day of the week for like 10 years, right? 7 to 17, right? And beyond if you go to CEGEP, college, university. Anyway, right? Because you have to do this consistently. If you're not consistently doing it, because that's the thing. I was also doing learning how to code a website. Well, and then I realized I didn't know if I wanted to do that or make an app. So I was like, I'm gonna learn an app. So I did that instead. Anyway, but the website I was using is called freecodecamp.org or .com.org. Anyway, um, and they have a forum, and I was asking questions, and somebody said, please, okay, just do one thing. Do this consistently. Doesn't matter how hard it is, do a little bit every day, and you will learn how to code. And I was like, yeah, yeah, so that applies there too. It applies to the coding too. It's not just the music or the, like, whatever, or the language stuff. It's like everything. Like learning, from what I've found and looked up and heard and heard from like teachers and students and stuff. The thing about learning is don't try and overload your brain because you'll just be like, I don't want to learn anymore. My brain hurts or whatever. Unless you're that kind of person and you could just keep learning forever and you love school, whatever. But, whoopsie, sorry. But they said learn a little bit every day. If you just work slash learn a little bit every day, you'll eventually end up learning what you want to learn. But if you try and overload your brain, a lot of people will be like, I just can't handle this. It's too much information. I can't handle this. Whoa. Also, if you try and do it too fast, like you try and learn like, oh, I want to learn all of it, so I'll try and squeeze it all into my brain. All the information in my brain is like one day, and it's like that's not gonna happen. Sorry. Also, if you try and learn by skipping certain things, you'll regret that because you'll be like, oh, I don't know how to do the first part. Now, when they're referencing things that I should have learned already, which I skipped because I was like, I don't need this. It's stupid. I don't need it. I can learn. I can skip that and just go on to the stuff I really want. No, you need the basics. Like I was like, blah, blah. Like I was learning animation and I was like, oh, I don't need this. No, I did. Like early stuff. I was like, I don't want to learn this. I want to learn how to like do the more advanced stuff. And then I was like, no, you need to sit there and just make circles perfectly, make spheres, make tubes, make triangles, make squares, make rectangles, make cubes, make what are those things called? Rectangular cubes, whatever those things are called. Make pyramids, make spheres, make just do that for hours every day until you're a like master at it. And then you'll be natural at actually animating. I'm like, I don't want to do that, but I have to if I want to learn. If I want to be good at animation, I have to know how to do the basic shapes. So, because the teacher was like, because I'm taking a Udemy course, and the teacher was like, you don't necessarily have to know how to draw to be an animator. You just need to know the basic shapes. Oh, S curves, C curves, U curves. I was like, oh gosh, this is gonna be a lot of stupid, annoying stuff. But yes, you do need to know it, because if you don't know it, you might not know what how to do even the basic shapes. And if you know the basic shapes, you can make whatever you want. But you need to know the basic shapes. So, yeah. So I was like, oh god, this is gonna be so boring. But like, you have to learn it. So that's the thing with music. I feel like music is the one thing where you can like not, because a lot of self-taught musicians tell me the same thing. Yeah, I don't know. I never learned chords. I learned songs I wanted to play, and then I just learned the chords for that song, and eventually I learned all the chords, and I learned how to read sheet music and all that, and then you could hand me sheet music and say, play, or you could say, play this song, and I'd be like, oh yeah, that's E, A, G, G flat, B, B flat major, bing, 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 and I can play it, right? Like my uncle plays piano, so maybe I'll ask him how he learned how to play piano. He also learned like when he was like a kid, I think. So, and he's like, I think he's older than no young. I don't know. I was gonna say young, older than my dad, but then I'm like, I don't know. Was younger? I don't know. Anyway, so I'm trying to figure how old he is. He's like in his 70s, I think, or late 60s. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, he knows how to play piano, and he can play by ear, which I'm like, wow. I've never heard him play, but my dad says he's incredible because he's one of those people who could just like play this. Oh yeah, okay. Or you're playing a song and you'll be like, could you play that? And he'll be like, yeah, done. I'm like, wow, you can play that. It's impressive. Because that's the thing I like. I like how when someone says, play blank song, and you can just be like, oh yeah, boom, boom, or ding 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 ding, or ding 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 ding, or whatever, whatever, and you could just play it. It's like that's impressive. That's impressive. Or you hear the song once, and you can immediately just go, I can play it. It's great. So, yikes. 81%, 100% skipped frames. Yikes. That's not good. Anyway, yeah, so that's just one thing I regret not learning an instrument as a child. Because I feel like I would know at least some music right now. Which is weird because I have like a cheap kid's piano or keyboard that I can't connect to my computer, and it's only one voice, so it's terrible, but it works for learning what I learned on it when I was like 12 or 13. Anyway, and I have a guitar, and I have a ukulele, and I have a djembe, no, a bongo kind of. Anyway, some drum, and my brother has a really nice guitar, which he got for his birthday one year, which I still think, even he said, was the stupidest gift he ever got. Now, it was stupidest gift because not because it was a terrible gift, but because it was for the wrong person. Because at summer camp, because he worked at a summer camp for like 6 years, right? And the co-ed, which is the like teenagers year from like 12 to 17-year-old week, I think no, he wasn't. I was gonna say he was a camper that year. No, he wasn't. But anyway, group of his friends got together and were like they pooled together some money. I think it was like $200 or $300, somewhere in there between that, between $200 and $300 for this guitar, and they just gave him a guitar. And I went, or the assistant director, because he's leaving, right? We pick him up at camp, and the assistant director comes running. He goes, "Don't forget your guitar." And I was like, "Oh, he's joking, right? You and music? No way." And then they hand him a guitar, and he goes, "Yeah, they got me a guitar for my birthday." And I was like, "What? How come you get a good guitar?" It was an acoustic guitar. It was an Epiphone guitar, and those are expensive. I asked my friend who actually knows guitars, and he was like, "That's an expensive guitar. It's like $200-$300." I'm like, "No way. What? What? Why do you get a good guitar? I would have loved that guitar." He never, ever, once. I don't think he ever once played it. Somehow he snapped the bottom string, which is the bottom string, whatever the bottom string is. I'm like, oh, would have loved to learn on that kind of guitar. And he had a friend who knows how to play guitar, and so he asked him, or he said could teach him if he ever wanted to learn. He never, as far as I know, he never touched that guitar ever. I'm like, why do you have this guitar? You're never ever gonna play it. But that's the thing. He didn't know ahead of time, obviously, that they were gonna get him this guitar. And so if he knew that ahead of time, he would have been like, "Yeah, don't buy me a guitar. I'm never gonna use it. Sorry, I'm not. I'm just not gonna use it." But I mean, I don't know. He now has a really nice guitar if he ever wants to learn guitar. He took guitar lessons with. See right there. See right. You hear that? That's touching the part that goes from the. That's touching the cable and that goes to the microphone. So I think that end is also broken, or not, or going to break, or fidgety, or iffy, whatever. So anyway, what was I just talking about? Oh yeah, guitar. Yeah. So if he ever wants to learn guitar, he's got a good guitar. So as far as I know, he's never touched a guitar. Ever since he got it, he's never touched a guitar. So he was never. Oh yeah, I was talking about. Sorry. Oh yeah, loud. Sorry, but I was talking about he went. Well, no, because I did something myself as a kid when I was really young, like 5 or 6 or 7, around there, around that age, and I did it for like a year or maybe two before I was like, I can't do this anymore. I hate this so much, right? But then, like a year, maybe 2 years later, I did it with a different person and my best friend, who was a girl at the time, who is my brother's best friend's sister. So, he was friends with him, and I was best. He was best friends with him, and I was best friends with his sister. Anyway, um, we did something with one of her well, actually, with her best friend's dad. So we played guitar, or he taught us guitar, and okay, there he made it fun, but I still feel like I didn't learn anything from it. I remember very vague, you know, faint whispers of something I remember from the first one. But that one, the second class I went, like the second teacher I had, no, forget it. I don't know. I don't remember anything from that guy. Sorry. Not that I learned nothing, but I don't really remember much. Also, the guitar I had wasn't great, and he had like multiple guitars, and so I just stopped bringing my guitar. My brother didn't have a guitar, so he had to use one of his, but I stopped bringing my guitar and just used one of his because his were clearly better. Like, obviously, they were better. They're clearly better. And so it's just like, yeah, well, why would I use mine when you have a nice guitars? Like my top string has like a weird twang, and my friend was like, "Yeah, that's a bad guitar string. Your string is bad. Might want to change that." And I was like, "Yeah, how do I do that when I can't take it off without? Because the back is like attached. I don't know if I can show you that. No, I won't. But yeah, the back of it doesn't have that like plastic peg that you peg in, where you can just take it out, like the end, and then it's like anyway. Yeah, so I can't take it out. Then I tried learning ukulele, and I know two songs in ukulele because I looked them up on YouTube. They were the fun song from SpongeBob. F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. N is for anywhere at any time at all down here in the deep blue sea. That song. And then I know Riptide. Laden, running down to the riptide, taken away to the dark side. I wanna be your left hand man. I love you when you're singing that song, and I got a lump in my throat 'cause you're gonna sing the words wrong. That one. I don't know why I was like doing the thing with the. I don't know. Anyway, and so those are the only two songs I actually know on the ukulele. And then I made up a whole bunch of things from different chords, which is probably just the most generic thing everybody plays. But anyway, those are the only two things I don't know on the ukulele. And the ukulele seems way more approachable than the guitar, because the guitar is just a bigger thing and it has two more strings, and it's just not. I can't grasp my head around it. And people were telling me, like my other friend who plays uh, keyboard was telling me. I asked him, how did you learn? Like, was it easy to learn the keyboard? And he was like, yes, because I tried the guitar, and also for him, he needed to go on the left, so he would have had to have a custom guitar going the other way, because most people play it on the right, like this, like this. He had to play it like this, and I was like, oh, that's dumb and expensive. And he's like, yeah, because left-handed guitars aren't really a thing. I mean, they are, but they're more expensive and they're more niche. Anyway, they're more like anyway. And he was like, yeah, the keyboard is a lot more. You can get wrap your head around it because it's all linear like this. You're just doing one plane. You're not having to remember like, oh, here are the chords and what are the strumming patterns, so I know how to play this. No. So I was like, oh, so maybe one day I'll learn keyboard. And he goes, keyboard's a good thing to start with. Yes. Well, start with. I already tried guitar and ukulele, but keyboard's a good one to learn. So maybe I'll do that one day. I always wanted to learn things like harmonica or like accordion or something stupid like that, like a mandolin, lute. What were other instruments? Oh, sorry. I wanted to learn the ocarina because I obviously from Ocarina of Time. My brother wanted to learn the pan flute. My friend knows how to play. I know a friend who knows how to play pan flute, and then he also knows how to play slide whistle. But he went to CGAB for music, but he did his instrument was the French horn. So, but he knows how to play French horn, keyboard slash piano, or piano slash keyboard. The pan flute and the slide whistle. So, and probably the recorder because it's not super different. Anyway, it's cool stuff. Yeah, I've wanted to learn maybe the pan flute or something, or like a harp or something. That kind of handheld harps, like that you play like this. Not the ones, the huge ones that are like this big, and you like have to set it up or whatever. And not the bass. Like I wanted to learn bass guitar too, because like, oh, bass guitar is easy, or drums, because you really need rhythm for drums. Other than that, like it's not the hardest instrument to learn. Depending on what you play, the bass is also an easy instrument to learn. Because from what I've heard, the bass guitar is very like, thunk 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 thunk, and you're playing like different like easy simple things. Unless you're like slap bass or something. You know, apparently it's really easy, but or fairly easy. I don't know how super easy, but I never found a bass for like cheap. I think I saw one on Kijiji for like 150, and then like 100 or $50 for an amp. I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, and I asked my friend who knows guitars, and he was like, "It's a good price, good price. Just make sure you get a bass amp, not a regular amp. You need a bass amp to play bass guitar." And I was like, "Oh, I do." And he's like, "Yeah, yeah. Just make sure. It's not hard. They usually say whether it's a bass guitar amp or not. So just make sure you ask that it's a bass guitar, not a regular guitar amp." So I was like, "Oh, okay, good to know." Oh, I see. Good to know. Good to know. And so I didn't pick it up because my mom was like, maybe, kinda, I don't know, whatever. And then by the time I like asked him again, he had sold it. I was like, you suck. But I waited like a month, so it's my fault anyway. But that's this weird thing. Sometimes things will sit for like months on these online marketplaces, eBay, um, Kijiji, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, Echo. Well, that doesn't exist anymore, but those kind of places, right? Other times, it's gone in a few days, gone in a few hours, gone in a few days. Sometimes it's months, sometimes it sits for years. So, anyway, that's just my thing. That's me. So, yeah. I don't know. If you have any tips on learning music, please tell me. And don't tell me, oh, learn sheet music. Learn how to read sheet music. No. Sorry. I ain't doing that at first. It's not how I'm gonna start learning. Sorry. And blah, 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 blah. I wanna yeah tips. If you have any tips for learning how to play keyboard, that would be very helpful. I mean, if not, whatever. But yeah, I wanna eventually know how to play what's it called? Like read sheet music, so I could just like look up the sheet music for some song and just play it. Also, the stuff I have for my computer, like my DAW, which is a digital audio workstation. Yeah, I think so. It's LMMS. It lets you play synthesizer with your keyboard, which is really cool. But if you don't know how to, like, if you know how to play keyboard or piano, piano, you won't know exactly how to play. Anyway, if you know how to play piano, the keyboard doesn't line up properly with the same way that an actual piano would. So you have to be doing it like diagonally. Like, say the D key is one note, the black key will not be directly over it. It'll either be the E key or the R key, or sometimes even like the W key or the T key. Let's try. Yeah, see, T key, and then is a C4. No, G4. Sorry, G4. And then the black key directly on top of it, or like diagonally on top of it, anyway, is is 6, and then the one below it is 5. So it's not directly on top, so it doesn't translate exactly. So my friend was saying, yeah, if you're gonna go, the same guy who gave me the audio interface, he said, yeah, that would work really well because it's free and you don't have to, mess around, spend money and all that. But if you know how to play keyboard slash piano, piano slash keyboard, you won't exactly have it translate directly. So, which is not the worst, but it doesn't work well. Anyway, it doesn't translate perfectly. It'll be hard to learn because even if you know what, like you learn from the keyboard on your computer how to play key synth like a piano or a keyboard, that won't translate back to a real piano or keyboard. So which will be a little annoying. But hey, what are you gonna do? So I think that'll be it for now, guys. We talked pretty much just about music, but it's okay. I guess it'll be okay. Um, yes, I don't know if this is gonna turn out very well because of the whole friggin' stupid frame drop crud, but I think that'll be it for now, guys. Again, if you want to get in touch with me, ask me questions, comments, concerns, uh, email in the description, tacoimposters@gmail.com. Then there's the Discord and the Patreon. You want to see better content? Uh, uh, support me on Patreon. Patreon.com/wingwong. That's patreon.com/wingwong. Now, see, I got a tiny upgrade, a little upgrade with this thing for free, right? The audio interface. But I don't think I can get free forever, so I think that'll be it for now, guys. If you want to support me, you want to see better content, please support me on Patreon. Wingwong. Patreon.com/wingwong. I think that'll be it for now, guys. So, adios, mi amigos.